Hello everyone and welcome back to AOR Season 15 here for the Italian Grand Prix. Heading into this round I did quite a bit of practice because my exams had finished, so I did have quite a bit of time to do a decent amount of practice. Still not really doing like an amazing amount because I'm not particularly enjoying playing the game, and usually I only start practice on like the weekend when I know a lot of other people do quite a bit more practice than me, so yeah, not as well prepared as maybe some other people, but for me personally the amount of practice I did felt like it was good enough, like to be honest, to fight for a good result around here. But Monza's not really the best track for me. I've never really had amazing results around here. They've always been fairly consistent in the top 5, but like never the top step of the podium. It's always been around 3rd and 4th kind of area. Hopefully today we can start getting some more points on synthetic in the championship, especially after Spa, which didn't go my way. But we had a week break between Spa and Monza, so coming back into AOR after that week break with my new set of pedals, which, as I said already quite a few times, I'm running 10% saturation because they do not reach 100%, which probably sounds like I'm making excuses, but some of you will understand just how different the feeling is between a new set of pedals and a set of pedals you've been using for a year, and especially if you have to use 10% saturation. There's definitely a massive difference in feeling under braking, and it's not very easy to get used to. But you can see heading around the Parabolica here on my fastest lap in qualifying, towards the line we go in max fuel mix of course, towards the line, and across the line we set a 20.0, which is a fairly decent time. It's not too amazing, but I couldn't go any quicker than that, and you can see that it is good enough for 4th on the grid, which is not too bad to be honest. And you would have seen Michael, or Michelangelo as some of you may know him, has joined the league mid-season, which to be honest I'm not too happy about. The fact that they're introducing drivers into the league mid-season, especially if they're very competitive and they interfere with the title race. But you would have seen there that I could change my setup, which I don't know why Parc Ferme was off, but for some reason I could change the setup. But anyway, rounding up to 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go here for the Italian Grand Prix. We've got Flores, Michael and Deagle in front. We get a pretty decent launch already off the start, going into the slipstream with Deagle and Michael in front, and Michael and Flores are going side by side into turn 1. You can see Flores has absolutely screwed up the braking zone into turn 1. He's cut the chicane. That's probably already given him a penalty, and yeah, we got through turn 1 and 2 pretty cleanly there, and already the top 3 are starting to break away from us. But I knew just at this stage we just got to really get into a rhythm and see what we can do. I know Flores and Michael, they're most likely better qualifiers than they are racers, because they're really quick on TT, and I know that from the past, and I wasn't really expecting them to fight for the win round here. I thought it would be more like Deagle and hopefully myself and maybe Chicken possibly, or Tin Palm behind. But you can see heading around Lesmo 2, already pulling a gap to the cars behind, and also RC Alonso had pretty good pace as well, but he's down in P6 at the moment. My championship rival Synthetic is down in something like P8 I think at this stage, and you can see heading around Ascari, and we're already catching up to the top 3. And as I said already, we've just got to get into a rhythm and set some pretty consistent lap times and just wait and see what happens here. And you can see Flores is weaving, and yeah, that's not really necessary because it probably lost him time if anything. And you can see heading into Parabolica, I've slightly outbraked myself there, and I've got into the Astro and I almost lost the car there. That was very close to crashing, and I managed to save that just about, but that was definitely a pretty scary moment in this race, and that's allowed Chicken and Alonso to go side by side with us down the straight. Chicken's got through and Alonso tries to get through, but we're just about going to stay in front, looking to the inside of Chicken under the braking into turn number 1, but we're not able to make the move. And you can see the top 3 are battling like mad, and not going to lie, I was kind of expecting Michael and Flores to maybe have a collision, because I know neither of them are the best at racecraft, and I'm just saying that from the past, like past experiences. But you can see braking into turn number 3 and 4 here through the chicane, not taking that too well, but I was a bit annoyed after losing the position to Tin Palm there, and I was really hoping to get through. But you can see we're sort of struggling in these early stages of the race at the moment, and Deagle has dropped off the back of the top 2, and he's actually got a bad exit there out of Lesmo 1. Maybe he let Tin Palm through, I'm not too sure there, but you can see we're getting a good slipstream off Tin Palm towards the Ascari chicane, going side by side with Deagle, under braking now side by side. This is pretty risky here, and you can see Deagle's just about going to remain in front, and that's definitely compromised our exit there. Now Alonso has gone past us there, going side by side down the straight, and Alex is looking for a move as well. We don't want to let him through. He's Synthetic's teammate, so he's definitely going to want to try and hinder my race and try and help Synthetic, so we're going to stay in front of him into Parabolica, and you can see Alex has got a good run out of the Parabolica. Down the straight he goes now, side by side with us, and I knew at this stage I've really got to stay in front for the sake of my race at the moment. You can see we're getting a fairly decent slipstream off Alonso, although he's moving around the place to try and get past Deagle. As under braking, we're going to brake just a bit later than Alex, and he tries to force us a bit wide there, but we're going to get our elbows out and stay in front for the time being. And yeah, we managed to hold on to that pretty well there. And now Synthetic's trying to get through on his teammate, but he's not able to do that at the moment. Now we've got a good run on Deagle towards the second chicane, and this is definitely a lot of action to start off this Italian Grand Prix, and we're all losing time by battling like this, but it's pretty hard to overtake around here. Even though there's a lot of straights, it's really quite difficult. And I think my setup was fairly decent in the straights, but I did have quite a bit of understeer with it. But you can see getting the not really the best exit out of Lesmo 2 actually there, but you can see Deagle's just pulling away at the moment down the back straight here onto the tunnel towards the Ascari. We're not able to make a move on him at the moment. And yeah, as I was saying about Michael earlier on, I don't think it's really the best thing to introduce drivers midway through the season, because they obviously didn't sign up at the start, and yeah, to introduce them mid-season. They did it last year with Carricks as well. It's not really the best thing in terms of interfering with the championship, but you can see getting a good run on Deagle at the moment out of the Parabolica, going side by side. Now we've got the advantage over him, like heading towards the first chicane, opening DRS as well, so we've got the inside line. All we've got to do is just hold on to this position heading into the first corner. We're going to brake slightly later than him, in fact quite a bit later than him. We've actually lost control of the car there slightly, but we're just about going to remain in front. Not really getting the best exit either. That was a pretty messy overtake there from myself, but I've just about managed to get it done. And now Alex is going side by side with Deagle heading towards the second chicane. We're currently giving the slipstream to Deagle, but now we're moving over to cover the inside line here for the second part of the chicane, braking at the 100 metre board, taking that pretty nicely, hard on that curb there, and we stay in front of the, well, it's turning into a bit of a train behind Deagle at the moment, and that includes my championship rival Synthetic. So I knew at this stage we're in P5, we're in a fairly comfortable position to hopefully try and fight for a podium, and you can just see how much we pulled away already from the group behind. And yeah, I was just hoping I could get into rhythm, fight for the podium, and hopefully Synthetic would be involved in the battle behind. He'll lose quite a bit of time, and yeah, I was hoping to gain quite a bit of points on him around here today, because I think the gap before this is 37 points I think, and if we're gonna try and win this championship with missing the last round and everything, it's gonna, like, I'm gonna have to start taking points out of him around tracks like this and around the tracks that suit me in the coming racing. You can see Flores and Michael have actually come together, so not gonna lie, I wasn't shocked by that. I don't mean to sound rude to them or anything, but I kind of expected it. I don't know why. Just off the start I thought that was going to happen. It actually did, and Flores has now lost the position to us. Michael's pitted, and he actually turned out to retire, as you'll see in a minute on the bottom of the screen, as you can see there. And we've managed to get up into a podium, so yeah, now we're in the position I wanted to be in, and hopefully I was going to catch the top two if possible of Tim Palmer and Alonso, who are both out-qualified, but you can see now moving on to lap 9, they've actually pulled away from me, and their pace is looking really strong. Mine wasn't looking too amazing, and you can see Synthetic's now into P4, he's 5 seconds off me, and a couple of people have pitted as well, so yeah, we're in a pretty decent position, but Synthetic's not actually in P4, he's in around P6, P7 at this stage, but because obviously some cars have pitted and some haven't. And you can see heading into the pits now, gaining quite a bit on the two cars in front there from the pit entry. They obviously went quite cautiously, and Synthetic has also pitted behind me, and you can see now going on to the soft tyres for the remainder of the race, setting a pretty decent stop there. And we're actually coming out just in front of Synthetic, and now we lose a bit of time there, having to brake to Alonso coming out the pits, and we could have got P2 there, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. And you can see X in the pits now. I didn't feel amazing on the soft tyres, and I was hoping I'd have the pace of the top two, but yeah, soft tyres, for some reason I didn't really have the pace around here with them, so we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. But you can see X in the first chicane. Flores has pitted for mediums, he pitted like slightly earlier than me, so he came out just behind us as you can see there, so not really getting the undercut with the medium tyres, and he's also going to be quite a bit slower than us with those tyres as well. But he may come back towards us towards the end of the race, because his tyres will be in much better condition towards the end of the race, so hopefully we can extend the gap to him. But yeah, Alonso's already starting to pull away, so I was hoping I'd be able to catch him, and you can see Tim Palm's a couple of seconds up the road in front of Alonso as well. But if we can get a podium around here, that will certainly be pretty good damage limitation, and if we can beat synthetic, that's definitely good for our championship as well. But the really good tracks for me are not so much Singapore next, but after that Austria, Malaysia, I think it's Japan and USA. There's some really good tracks for me, so hopefully we can get some really good results around there, and that'll definitely be good for my championship. You can see Tim Palm sets a 22.7, we set a 22.9, personal best lap of the race on these soft tyres, and you can see synthetic has set a 22.6, so he's definitely got good pace, so we've got to be careful with him. He's currently in P5 I believe at this stage, so it's likely he'll catch Flores, and then most likely he'll pass him, and then we've got to be wary of synthetic's pace because he was looking very quick in the second stint. And you can see Yano Racing has pitted, so now we're up into P3, and it's looking good for Tim Palm to take his first ever AOR win. You can see taking the first chicane there very badly, and that was just a lack of confidence on the brakes. But you can see synthetic and Flores are battling behind, and Flores did quite a good job to keep synthetic behind, and that's definitely going to help me. But they're both losing time by battling each other. Obviously they're going to lose quite a bit of time to the cars in front, so that's definitely beneficial to us at this stage of the race. And you can see now moving on to pretty much the end of lap 17 out of 27, braking into Parabolica, and at this moment I was just paying a lot of attention to the battle behind me. You can see synthetic has managed to get in front of Flores into the Parabolica, so we now have 10 laps of the race remaining, and synthetic's about 5 seconds behind us, so it'll be tough for him to catch us. He'll have to catch us at probably a rate of half a second a lap, and once again taking that first chicane just so badly. And yeah, that's purely because I'm just struggling with the new set pedals, and yeah, I need to really just try my best to get used to them, and hopefully maybe try and fix my other ones if possible, but it'll be very difficult to do that. And you can see crossing line onto the final lap of the race, we moved on quite a bit and skipped out about 9 laps here in the highlights because nothing really happened. But you can see the gap to the cars in front has extended, and the gap to synthetic behind has closed in, so synthetic was quicker than me by quite a bit. I wasn't pushing 100% because I didn't want to make any kind of mistake and lose the podium, but synthetic did have quite a bit better pace than me, so that's a bit concerning. Like for my second stint, I seemed to struggle quite a bit in the second stint with the harder tyres, and his pace was looking really good. He was catching me at a rate of about 3 or 4 tenths a lap, so fair play to him. But I think we're just about going to hold on to this podium for the time being. You can see on the mini map in front, RC Alonso and Tim Palm are actually very close on tracks. I was hoping maybe they could possibly collide here on the last lap, but I think Alonso attempted a move, but it didn't quite work for him. But he actually had a penalty of 5 seconds, I think, due to a steward's inquiry after the race. I'm not sure what for, but that's actually promoted us up into P2, so that was a massive surprise for me. And also synthetic had a time penalty for extending track limits, and I found that out in the race from the engineer, so that was another reason why I wasn't pushing like 100%, but still synthetic was quicker than me. I have to hand it to him. He had really good pace, but we finished P3, which actually turned out to be P2, so that's definitely good for us in the championship. Alonso got promoted to or demoted, sorry, to P3, so yeah, that's definitely a good result for us because we've managed to gain 6 points on synthetic in the championship compared with 3 if we finished in P3. So despite not really having amazing pace, we've managed to get a pretty good result out of it, and fair play to Tim Palm as well for or Chicken for his really good race today and his first ever AOR win, so fair play to him. That was definitely a very good drive from P6 on the grid actually. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you have, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you for Singapore very soon. So goodbye.